Hello and welcome again to BlackBox QA. So, agenda for this video would be to understand the concepts behind variables and data types in Python. And in the second part of the video, we'll talk about the operators that has been used in Python. Okay. So, without further delay, let's start our video. So, in this section, we will delve into the foundational concepts of variables and data types, which are essential for any programming endeavor. A variable is essentially a named storage location in memory that can hold different values during the execution of a program. Okay, so understanding the various types of data, such as integers, floats, strings, and booleans, is vital as each type has its own characteristics and use cases. Okay, so for instance, integers are used for whole numbers while floats are suitable for decimal values. The importance of data types cannot be overstated. They influence how data is stored and manipulated, which in turn affects the performance and efficiency of applications. Additionally, we will explore the distinction between mutable and immutable data types, which is crucial for understanding how data can be modified. And finally, we will look at examples of variables declarations across different programming languages, highlighting the syntax and best practices that enhances code readability and maintainability. Okay, so before we write any kind of automation scripts, frameworks, everything starts with data, right? To store data, we need variables. And to understand data, we need data types. So if I say your age is 27 and your name is John, so are these two same kind of data? Obviously, the answer will be no. So that's your entry to data types. Okay. Now, if I ask you what is variable, so a variable is a container to store data and it gives a name to a value, and value can change. So that's why it is called variable. So this whole thing is pretty much explanatory. So to store any kind of data, we need a container, and that container is called as variable, and we give name to a value, and so value can change. That's why it is called as variable. So let's consider a scenario where we are declaring a variable called as age and assigning its value as 25. Okay, so think of it as store 25 inside age box. Okay, so let's make it more clear with an example. Let me create another variable called as name and give its value as John. Okay, and another variable called as age and give its value as 27. Let's say John has a salary of 50,000 per month. So declare another variable called as salary and assign its value as 50,000. Okay. Now, if I want to print all of these value, we will use print function and we will give parameter as name, which is one of the variable name as well. In another line, let's print age. So we'll put the variable name as age, and at last let's print salary. So we will provide the variable name salary inside the parameter. If we run this section of code, okay, we know what would be the output. So let's run it. We will get the output as John 27 and 50,000. Here we have just provided the variable name, and the output which we are getting are its value. So did Python ask you what type of data it is? No, right? So Python is smart enough to understand. Python is dynamically typed. So you do not declare type in Python. Python automatically detects type it at runtime. Now let's take another example. Okay, so here we are declaring variable as x and defining its value as 10. And let's try and print this value. Now if we run this file again, we are getting the output as 10. And let's define another value for x, this time as hello. Okay, and in the next line let's print this value. Okay, now if we run this file again, we are getting hello as printed. So that means we haven't declared any type in Python, and Python automatically detects type at runtime, right? Here we are declaring value of x as 10, which is an integer, and here we are declaring it as hello, which is a string. So same variable name, different data, Python allows it. You might be using Java or other languages. So this privilege was not there. You have to explicitly provide int or string. Then only those languages will get to know what type of data it is. But in Python, Python simply allows it. Okay. Now next topic will be variable naming rules. So there are certain rules which you need to follow while creating variable or defining a variable. So a variable must start with a letter or an underscore. It cannot start with number. There should not be any special characters, and it is case sensitive. Okay. So let's discuss this with an example again. Here we are declaring a variable called as first underscore name and assigning its value as, this time say, Rahul. Okay, let's create another variable name. Now this time let's start with an underscore and give this variable name as age and assign its value as 25. And again let's create another variable called as pi and assign its value as 3.14. Okay, so we have uh, declared all these variables along with its values which comply with all the naming convention rules which we've just discussed. And if we try and print these values, okay, let's try and print first underscore name, then let's try print age underscore age, and again let's try and print pi. And if we run this file, we got the respective output. Now if we go ahead and create a variable name which do not comply with any of the rules which we have just discussed, so let's create a variable name called as one name is equals to abc, and let's have this first dash name is equals to abc. And so see, it has started throwing the errors. It has highlighted this one over here, and it has highlighted a dash over here, means it cannot start with a number. So here we have started with a number and it has given the error, and it should not have any kind of special characters. So dash is treated as a special character, right? So this has already highlighted the error. So this is a bad naming convention practice, so that you have to keep in mind. Okay, let's proceed further and discuss about the Python data types. Now every value in Python has a type. Okay, and for example, let's talk about int and have, if we consider its value, then let's give this 10, so meaning a whole number. Okay, so whole number. So whatever whole numbers are there, those will be considered as int or integer. If we talk about float, so float will have decimal numbers. So example would be 10.5. Okay, so decimal numbers will be treated as float. If we talk about string, str, so example would be text written inside double quotes, which could be hello. So any kind of text which is written inside double quotes will be treated as string data type. And uh, let's talk about boolean. There's another data type in Python, so it will have this bool, and it will have the following two values, either true or false. Okay, so all the logical values will fall under boolean data types. Okay, and there's another data type called as none. So this is called as none type. And example would be, if we provide simple none, it will be treated as none data type, and meaning would be empty or no value. Okay, so we'll now demo each with practical example. Okay, so for now I'll just delete this also. Let me delete this because this is not a best practice. And let's give or declare a variable called as a and assign its value as 10. Let's declare a variable called as b and assign its value as -5, and variable c, and let's assign this value as 1 lakh. Okay, now if we try and print like this, print type of a. Again, in the next line, let's print type of b. And the third line, let's print type of c. So what could be the output? Okay, so if we try and run this file, we've got these results: class int, class int, class int. So this explains all of these values are of type int. Okay, now again, let's discuss some variables around float data type and create a variable called as price and assign its value as 99.99. Again, let's create another variable and assign its value as 18.5. So we have created two variables, price and GST, and we have assigned their values, which are the decimal numbers. Now, if we try and print price, comma, GST, okay, and in the next line, if we print the type of price, so what would be the output? So let's try and run this file. Now, for price and GST, we've got these values 99.99 and 18.5. However, for printing the type of price, So it has printed class as float because all the decimal number will be treated as float data type. So we can use float for money, measurements, and percentages. Okay. Again, let's discuss string as well, string data type. For that, let's create a variable called as name and assign its value as Python. And in the next line, let's create another variable called as city and assign its value as Pune. Okay. Now, if we try and print name dot upper, okay, and in the next line, let's try and print len city. What does this means? You'll soon get to know once we run this file. So if we run this file, let's see the output. So here we have written Python, which was having P as capital, rest everything was in small case. So with name dot upper, we are converting all the rest of the characters which were in small case to capital. So here it has printed every character in capitals. And len means length of this particular value, which we have given as Pune. So if we count the character, it has four characters. So len city means it will print the length of this value, which comes out to be 4. Okay. So for any kind of text, if you are dealing with any kind of text value, you can use string data types. It should be surrounded by single quotes or double quotes. So if, let's say, here I've given double quotes, let's say if I give single quotes also, then this can be treated as valid. Let's convert this to single quote and then run this file. Output would be same, right? Python and 4. And if further going deep into string data type, it has some very powerful functions. Couple of them we have seen just now. One is the upper and the second one was len. Okay. Okay. So again, let's discuss about boolean data type. Okay. So we have seen if you are dealing with any kind of logical values, boolean data type would be the best fit. So for this, let's create a variable name called as is underscore active and assign its value as true. In the next line, create another variable called as is underscore admin and assign its value as false. And if we try and print the type of is underscore active, so what should be the output? Let's see. So it has given that this particular data type represents class bool. Okay. So along with all the logical values, this data type can be used in conditions, automation checks, and test assertions. So while we will be working with creating the automation frameworks, there we're gonna be using this particular data type bool a lot. Okay. So let's discuss this with another example. If we declare a variable name called as age and define its value as 18, okay, and if we try and print age greater than equals to 18, okay, now if we run this file, the output would become as true because age is 18 and here we are giving an expression where age should be greater than or equals to 18. So equals is coming, hence the output is true. Now if we remove equals to from here, the output would be false because here we are considering age as greater than 18, but that's not the case. So it has given the output as false. Okay. Now the last data type is none type. This is something which you haven't seen in any other language, but it's there in Python. So let's discuss this. So none type, okay? None means nothing, empty or no data. Simple, as the name suggests. Okay. So let's discuss this as well with a example. And here we are creating a variable name called as user and giving its value as none. Simple type as none. Okay. And if we print user, okay, and in the next line let's try and print its type. Now after running this file, so this has printed its value which is none, and this represents to the class as none type. Okay, so this was all about the various data types which we'll be dealing in Python. Okay, now let's discuss another topic which is called as type conversion. And sometimes we need to convert data from one type to another. This you might have seen in while working with other languages as well. So type conversion, what it is, let's discuss this with an example. Okay, so here let's declare a variable a and give its value 10. Now this time 10 is surrounded by double quotes, and double quotes, whatever you are giving in double quotes, that will be treated as string, we have seen. And let's create another variable called as b, and here we are giving its value as 20. Now if we print simply a plus b, okay, so what should be its value? Okay, let's see. While running this file, see it has given the error that here at print a plus b, type error, and can only concatenate string, not int to string, because this is treated as string as of now, and you cannot concatenate a string variable value to a integer one. So for that you have to change the type of variable a. So for simple type conversion, you just whatever data type you want to change this particular value, you just put the name of that data type and surround it with small brackets. Okay, let's put a inside the small brackets, and this time if we run this file, we won't be getting any error, and we'll get the output as 30. So 20 plus 10 is 30. So this is called type conversion. Now let's take another example. What we will be doing here is we'll be creating a variable called as num and assigning its value as 100. And if we print this value num, but let's print this by doing a type conversion from integer to string. So for type conversion, we'll give the data type name and surround that particular variable with small brackets. Okay, and let's provide some text as well. Is a number. So if we run this file, so what it says, 100 is a number. Now if we do not do this type conversion, it will give the error, right? Because this particular section is a string, and if we do not do any type of type conversion, and if we run this, so you cannot concatenate an integer with a string, right? So it will throw the error, unsupported operand types for int and string. Now this is declared as int, right? So if we do this again, like if we convert this to string, then it will work fine, because a string can be concatenated with a string. The data type should be same as we have seen over here. Okay, now let's discuss another example. Okay, this would be an interesting one, so listen it very carefully. Let's declare a variable a and assign it a string value called as hello. Okay, and if we try to print by converting this string data type to int, so for that let's provide the int data type and give this variable name, and yeah, that should be it. And yeah, now if we run this, what should be the output? So if we run this, see, it will give you an error where it will say invalid literal for int with base 10 hello. Okay, that means you can convert number strings but not text. So here in the above example, what we saw was a number string, and after converting it to int or the integer data type, this worked properly. But in here we have string text already, and then we are trying to convert it to the integer data type. So in that case, it's not possible and it has given us the error. So you can convert number strings but not the text. So this is one such example which I wanted to show you. And so we have learned about all these data types, variables. So we can use this in Selenium automation for example, storing login data. Let's say if we are doing API testing, in that case, we can use it for handling responses. For database testing, we can use it for handling records. And let's say if you are performing any kind of data science activity using Python, so in that case, we can use it for working with numbers. Okay. So if we conclude and summarize this video, so what all we have learned about variables store data. We have seen Python auto detects type, and common types are the integer, float, string, bool, and none. Conversion is possible. Okay, so this is an important point where it says like conversion is possible, and it can also help you in building strong foundation for automation and real world programming. Now, if you master variable and data types, you control your program's data. And if you control data, you control the logic. Okay? So this was all about the data types and variables in Python. Now let's discuss about operators in Python. So in this section, we will be deep diving into the concepts of operators in Python, so which are fundamental to performing operations on data, right? Operators are not just symbols, they are the building blocks of expressions that allow us to manipulate, variable, and perform calculations. Okay, we will explore the various types of operators available in Python, including arithmetic, comparison, logical, bitwise, and assignment operators, each serving a unique purpose in programming. Through practical examples, we will illustrate how these operators are used in real world scenarios. Okay, and additionally, we will discuss the importance of operator precedence and associativity, which dictate the order of operators in complex expression. And finally, we will highlight common pitfalls that programmers encounters when using operators. So, if we talk about operators in Python, so basically operators are symbols that perform actions on data, just like we use plus, minus, multiplication in maths, right? Python uses operator to perform calculations, decisions, comparison, and automation logic. Now, let me ask you a question. Is 5 greater than 3? Everyone would be knowing its answer. So, the thing is, can we check this using Python? Yes, we can do that. And this will be the basic building block of operators in Python. Okay. So, let's discuss about arithmetic operators. So, arithmetic operators are used to perform mathematical operations, and it includes various operators called as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, power, and floor division. So let's open our PyCharm. Let's remove all of this. So if we talk about all these operators which we just discussed, so addition, basically what it does, it adds two numbers. So there are two operands required. Same way for other type of operators also, two operands are required. Now uh, let's see with a live demo. Okay. Now if we declare a variable called as a and assign its unit as 10 and declare another variable as b and assign its value as 3. Okay. Now let's perform all these arithmetic operations. So we will do first addition. Okay. Then let's do subtraction. Okay. Now let's perform multiplication, division, which will be a slash b, and here for multiplication we are using asterisk symbol. Okay. And let's perform modulus operation, which will be a modulus b. Okay. Now let's perform the power operation. So for power operation, what we'll be doing, we will be using double asterisks. Okay. And at last, let's perform floor division, which will be a double slash b. Okay. Now let's check their output first. Okay. Then we'll discuss about their functionalities. So if we run this file, yes, so we've got the output. So a plus b is simple. So 10 plus 3 is 13. A minus b, we are doing subtraction. So 10 minus 3 is 7. A multiplied by b, which is 10 into 3, which is 30. Now this one, a divided by b. So if we divide 10 by 3, we'll get a decimal value, because 10 is not completely divisible by 3. It's simple mathematics. So it will give 3.333 and so on. Now, when it comes to modulus, so modulus always gives the output of the remainder. So it's basically a simple division, and what we'll get is, like, let's say if we divide 10 by 3, so at the end we will get a remainder of 1, right? Yeah. Now let's discuss about this power operator, which is represented as double asterisk. So here what we are trying to do is, we are trying to have 10 to the power of 3. Okay. So for 10 to the power of 3, right, if we perform it in using normal calculator, we will get 1000 as the output. And this floor division, if we divide, if we do floor division of a and b. Now let's discuss about this floor division. So for those who haven't heard about this floor division before, so floor division in Python is a special kind of division that divides two numbers and rounds the result down to the nearest whole number. Now if we at this particular point where we are trying to divide 10 by 3, so we were getting this decimal value, which was 3.333 and so on. Now in floor division, what it will do, it's also a kind of division only, but whatever result we will be getting, it gets rounded off to the nearest whole number. Now the nearest whole number for 3.33 is 3, hence the output is displayed as 3. Okay. So this was all about the arithmetic operators. Okay. Now let's discuss about the other type of operators, which are the comparison operator. Okay. Now comparison operator compares values and they return true or false. So true or false means they will return a boolean value. Okay. So what are the different comparator operators or comparison operators present in Python. So one is the equal, which is displayed as double equals basically. Now, again, the second one is not equals, which is represented with an exclamation mark with a single equals. Then comes greater, okay? Then comes less, and the other two are greater than equals. Then comes less or equal, okay? So let's discuss all these operators with again live session. So now this time let's declare a variable called as x and assign its value as 10, and declare a variable as y and assign its value as 20. Now we will see various different comparison operators. Okay, so first let's try and print if x is equals y. Okay, again let's try and print if x not equals to y. Then let's do the operation of x greater than y, and subsequently let's perform x less than y. Now we are left with two comparison operator, which is x greater than equals to y, greater or equals to y, equals y, and last is print x less than equals to y. Okay, so more or less we know the output, and we'll just try and see if we are getting the expected output or not. Yeah, so for the first statement where we are trying to print x equals to y, so this statement is false and it has returned false because x is 10 and y is 20. Second one, here we are comparing x not equals to y. That's true, and hence it has returned value as true. Now, here we are trying to compare and see if x is greater than y, which is not true because x is 10 and y is 20. Hence, it will return the result as false. In this case, it will return result as true because x is less than y. That is, we can see already. And here, we are trying to see if x is greater or equals to y. So this particular statement is false because x is not equals to and also x is not greater than y. So this will return false. And here we are trying to see if x is less or equals to y. So x is less, okay, obviously. So hence it has print the value as true. Now let's say if we keep both these values as equal, then what would be the result? So we have given x is equals to 10 and y equals to 10. Now let's run this file. So see, the output has been changed. Now x is equals to y. That is true. Both are 10. X not equals to y. That is false because both are same. These two statement will also be false because x is not greater than y and x is not less than y as well. But here both these statement will be true because here we are comparing if x is greater or equals to y. So there's this or present, right? So one condition is getting fulfilled, hence it will return the value as true. And for this one also, x less or equals to y, here also one condition is getting fulfilled, hence it has returned the result as true. Okay, so comparison operators are the heart of decision making in automation testing, conditions, loops, and validation. Now let's go on to the another part, which is the logical operators, right? Now logical operators combine multiple conditions. Okay, so there are three types of logical operators: and, or, and, not. Okay. Now, and means, let's say, if we are writing in this way, true and false, because we are using an and operator, then to the left side of this operator and to the right side of this operator, both should have the value as true. Then only it will return the result as true. Otherwise, it will return the result as false. If any one of the condition is not getting fulfilled, it will return the result as false. Okay. Now there's this or operator. So or operator says if any one is true, then it will return the result as true. So in this case, if we put or in between, okay, so here the result will be true because any one condition is fulfilled as true. Okay, to the right, sorry, to the left and to the right, any one should be true, then the result should be true. Now not. So this not operator, what it does, it is the reverse basically. So if any condition is getting true and then we are using not, then the result will be false. And if any condition is false and we are using not operator, then it will reverse and give the result as true. Okay. So not is basically the reverse. Example, let's say, if we have this value as true, now if we put not in front of it, then the result will be false. So let's discuss these logical operators in little bit more details. Okay, so let's consider a variable age and assign its value as 25. Let's consider another variable called as country and assign its value as India. So remember, this is the integer variable and this is a string variable. Okay. Now let's perform some print operations. So wait, here let's type print command, and where age is greater than 18 and country is equals to India. Okay. Next line, we'll try and print using OR operator where age is greater than 18 or country is India. And at the last line, we'll try and print if not age is greater than 18. Okay. So see here we are using AND operator, here we are using OR, and at last we are using NOT. So what we've discussed, both sides of AND operator should be true, then only the result will be true. In case of OR, if any one side of OR the condition is giving as true, then the result will be true. And for not, whatever be the result, it will reverse it. Okay, if it is true, it will give the result as false, and if it's false, it will give the result as true. So let's check for this first one. Age is greater than 18, so 25 is greater than 18, this is true, and country is equals to India. So here we have defined a value for this country variable as India. So this is, so both the sides are true, hence the result will be true. Okay. Here also age is greater than 18, which is true, and country is equals to India. But here we are using OR operator. So if any of these sides is giving true as a result, then the ultimate result will be true. Here age is greater than 18, which is true, but now we are using not operator. So this will return the this will give the result as false. So let's try and check this. If we run this file, okay, for convenience, let me go ahead and remove all these ones. So now if we try and run this file, see the first two statement gives the result as true, and the last one as false. Now let's say if we keep this as age less than 18, now this condition is getting as false. Okay, but here the condition is getting as true. And here also, let's make it to age less than 18. Now, one condition is false, the other one is true. And here, let's do the reverse. Age is less than 18. Okay. So now what will be the output? So the first one, now this one condition besides and operator is false. Hence the output for this statement will be false. Here still one condition is false, but the other one is still true. So the result will be true. And here age less than 18 is false, but we are using not operator. So the result will be true, as this will reverse the result. So once we run this file, we'll get false for this one, true for this one, and true for this one. Okay. So this is the this is all about the logical operator, and practical usage of this operator can be done if we are having any kind of multiple conditions, if we are doing any kind of login checks, and if we are doing eligibility checks, or to test conditions. Okay. So this was all about the logical operators. Now let's discuss about assignment and compound operators. Okay. So basically, assignment stores values. Now, if we declare a variable called as x, and if we give its value as 10, so we are assigning value of 10 to variable x. Okay. Now, compound assignment updates value shorthand. So what it does it means, I'll tell you. For example, if we are using operator as plus equals to, okay, so what we are doing here is we are doing add and assign. So for example, this is like add and assign. Now example could be, if we are writing anything like x plus equals to 5, then this is equivalent to x is equals to x plus 5. Okay. Similarly, let's talk about minus equals to. So this is subtract and assign. Okay. Now again, if we write anything like this, x minus equals to 2, then actually what does it means? It means x is equals to x minus 2, right? Now the third one is asterisk equals to. So what does this mean? This means multiply and assign. And if we write something like this, x asterisk equals to 3, it means x is equals to x asterisk 3. Okay. And last one is slash or divide assign. Okay. So slash equals to, so it is also called as divide assign. And if we have something like x slash equals to 2, okay, let me remove the space, then what does this means is x is equals to x divided by 2, right? Now let's discuss this in more details with a live demo. I'll remove this for now. And here let's declare a variable called as num and assign its value as 10. And again, let's declare variable called as num, and here we are giving add and assign, so which will be plus equals 5. Now if we print value of num, what would be the result? its result is 15. So basically it is written in this way: num is equals to 10 plus 5, because it had initial value as 10. So it has been declared as, so let's like this. Now initially num has this value as 10, so here it will give, here 10 will be placed, so 10 plus 5 is 15, hence the output is 15. Okay, let me remove this as well for now. Again, let's have this num num, and then now we will do subtract and assign, so we'll put minus equals to 3. Okay, and then let's print num value. Now this will give the output as, okay, let me remove this. This is not required, this for the explanatory purpose only. Now if we run this file, it has given this time the value or the output as 12. What does this means is, now value of num was 15 from this operation, and if we subtract from 15 3, then the output is 12. Okay, again, now let's do multiply assign. So for that we'll do num asterisk equals to 2, and this time let's print the value of num. Now the latest value of num is 12, and here what we are doing, we are trying to multiply 12 by 2, so the output should be 24. So let's find it out. Yes, so the output is 24. And at last we are doing divide assign. So num slash equals to 2, and then let's print the value of num. So till here the value of num was 24, and then we are trying to divide 24 by 2, the value should be 12. So if we run this file, we get the value as 12. So this is extremely useful in counters, loops, automation retries, and scoring system. So wherever you are using any counters or loops or automation retries in your code, so then in that case, this assignment operators or assignment and compound operators, they prove to be very useful. Okay. Now, the other type of operator is called as membership operator, and it is used to check value inside sequences. Okay, so there are two types of membership operator. One is in, and what does this means is, it means present, right? So to check the value inside a sequences, so if you're using in operator, it means the value inside sequence is present, and if we are using not in, then value inside sequences is not present. Okay, so let's discuss this as well with some practical example. This time let's declare a variable called as name and assign its value as Python. Okay, and in the next line, let's try and print this statement where print, and in double quotes we are providing py. Okay, and we are using in operator in name. So what we are trying to check is if py is present in name, like this value. Okay, now let's print another statement where we are trying to check if java is present in name. So if we run this file, the first statement will be true because py is present in Python. However, the second one will be false as Java is not there as part of this particular value. Again, let's consider an example where we declare a variable called as my underscore list, and we provide these values inside the list. which is 1 comma 2 comma 3. If we try and print this statement where we are checking if 3 is there in my underscore list variable, and let's do another print, and here we'll check if 10 is if 10 not in my list. So here we are using in operator and here we are using not in operator. Now if we try and run this file again, okay, let me delete this one. So the output will be clearly visible. So yeah, so both these values are coming as true because 3 is present in this list, which is 1, 2, and 3, but 10 is not present in my list variable. Now if we reverse this and if we do not in, and let's have this as in operator, then the output will also get reversed. So 3 is present in this mylist variable, but here we are saying 3 not in mylist, which will eventually be false and the output will be false. And 10 in mylist, here we are saying 10 is present in mylist variable, which is not the case, and hence the output will be false. So this membership operator is used in form validations, text search, list checking, so on and so forth. Now, next operator is the identity operator. Okay. So here, this operator checks memory identity and not the value, unlike the membership operator. So there is again two operator for identity. One is the is, meaning same object, and the other one is not, which means different object. Okay. So what does this means? Let's check with an example. So let's consider a variable called as a and assign its value as 10, another variable b, and give this value as 10 again. Now if we print a is b, so what would be the output? Let's check. We'll remove this again for now and see what should be the output now. Now a is b, so a and b have both equal values, so a is b will return true. Now if we use a is not b, then this clearly contradicts the statement because both a and b has the value as 10, which are same, so this time it should return false. See, it has returned false. So this is all about the identity operator, and in real world it is useful in object identity framework instances. Okay, so with this we have covered up all the possible operators which Python provides. Okay, and we can have this used in real world connections where we are checking conditions in Selenium, API status checks, loops and decision making, login validation, and business logic. Right now, if we conclude this whole operator thing which we've just discussed, so the key takeaways would be: operators allow Python to calculate, compare, decide, and core families of the operators are arithmetic, comparison, logical, assignment, membership, and identity. Okay, so I'll conclude this whole video with a line like: if data types define what your data is, operator define what you can do with it.